Hello, you're watching Sidebuster Living. I am Shalise. Today I would like to share with you our favorites from Usborne. I don't know if everybody else is getting a ton of invites for book parties, but one of the common things that I see with Usborne is the fact that a lot of people say, what do you recommend? What books do you like? All those kind of things. And this video is going to show you some of our family favorites that we always recommend in book parties. I'm not an Osborn consultant, and I would really just love to share with you all our favorite books. So here we go. Okay, so let's talk books. I do need to put out there, because this is very important in my town that I'm in, Usborne is not a creation-based publisher. Okay, and that is important for some people. I do need to put that out there. On that note, I'm going to start with the children's favorite, and that is the Usborne First Reading series. This one in particular is their favorite. These ones, so you've got Usborne First Reading and the Usborne Very First Reading books. I haven't used these as readers, how they are laid out. The children just love to use them for light reading. That was Brer Rabbit Down the Well, and these ones, as you can tell, are based off of old mythology. How the Zebra Got His Stripes. So large words, beautiful illustrations, and so then they have, your reading levels up here. So this one's a reading level 2. Okay. Osborne First Reading level 1. This is The Ant and the Grasshopper. Now, is your very first, is your first grader going to be able to sit down and read this? I'm sure with a little bit of help he can. Hungry, of course, would be very difficult for my 5-year-old to read. But most of these they can read. They're very simple. Anyway, these ones are a bit of an investment if you buy them all, but they are a favorite, and they are a lot of consultants' bestseller. This one is one that we recently won, and it's not one that I would have normally picked up to purchase, but I love it, and it is such a small little book. It says $1.99 on the back. It's beautifully, I don't know if this is one that consultants get to give away as prizes, or if it's something you can purchase. But as you can see, there's definitely a lot of information about the stars. But what I love most about it is their cycles, that you can take this into the sky and find all these stars. This one is very helpful for me. Okay, September to November. And then up here you've got maps for the southern hemisphere, looking north, and then looking south. So this one I very much recommend. Highly recommend, whatever the word is. One of my favorite Osborne books, and I know I've mentioned this in other videos, are these. They are very heavier reading. I picked these up for my 9-year-old, soon to be 10-year-old. And when I picked these up, I wanted to pre-read them, because Osborne is based in England, and there is some language there that is appropriate for Britain, but is not necessarily appropriate for United States. For example, the D word. It's not, what doesn't mean anything there like it does here. For the record, the word bloody is a highly offensive word back there. So that I'm pointing out the differences in language. These were fantastic. These were some of the best books that I have ever read. They are youth fiction. But they were very engaging. I loved them very much. I spoke so highly of them that I gave them to my mother-in-law to read. She loved them. And then my husband said, okay, what's the big deal about these? And so he read them. And everybody really enjoyed them. My daughter has not read these yet. But my sister recently acquired these. And she is loving them too. And she is 12 years old. Books like this, there is this one and math and another one. And I love books like this just to kind of keep as reference points, and it's very helpful for me as well. These ones are a little bit of an investment. Okay. But it kind of brings grammar and the rules of grammar in a less daunting way. Do you know what I mean? You know, are you lost? And here's, you know, it's telling what, it's a question. Help is the exclamation. And I just really recommend this. If one of the things that I will do on parties is if I can get 2 smaller count or smaller price books or 1 larger price books, and that's what I'm going to do to kind of help my friends out, but also build up my library. This one was definitely a larger investment. This is one that I probably use most reference-wise. If you can tell, I have this section binder clipped. And the reason I'm mentioning this is that whole evolution versus creation viewpoint. Most of this is what evolution is saying happened before the first farmers, the first nomads, 10,000 to 6,000 BC. I will say that it's very helpful for me to understand the viewpoints and to be educated in that, and to kind of not necessarily because I believe it, but to kind of understand where they're coming from and not to be in the dark, so to speak, if that makes sense. But I'm using this a lot with the story of the world. And sometimes I don't have read alouds, and so we'll just pull this open and we will do more information here. Now this is a internet linked. There is codes or something. Here we go. What is an internet linked book? A Usborne internet linked book contains description of websites you can visit to take you further into the subject in a fun and informative way. To visit the sites, go to the Osborn Quick Links website, yada yada yada, where you will find links to all the websites recommended in this book. So if that's important to you, there you go. Before I share the children's absolute favorite for now with the Osborn, I want to just mention, I look for books like this. So there's this one, and I have one on the human body, and I have one on bees. I have this one, and I look up, we have one coming, I needed a replacement. I have another one coming about freak accidents. It's something to do with that. If I remember, I will cut it here, post a picture of what's coming, and then bring it back. But this one is Special Forces. I have one on castles right now, and I have one on... these just are kind of informative books. They give you information about a certain subject, but in a interactive way, so that the child doesn't feel like it's just reading a bunch of information that he has to memorize. But it's just told in such a way that they can relate to and they can really enjoy. My son right now is very into spying, things like this, and so I picked this up for him because I thought he would enjoy it, and he does, and he is. Oh boy, is he ever. And then like the one that I got on Butterflies and Caterpillars, I really wanted to kind of delve more into that and to kind of teach that with the children, the life cycle. And then the castle one, of course, we're in medieval history right now. It was kind of just bringing it to life in that way. So I look for things like that to just really help the children out and kind of what they want to learn. You know, here's more information. There isn't a whole encyclopedia out there, but here is more information and just, again, what I would call a living way to bring it to life. Okay. Alright, so the final favorite is this one, and I don't have a flashlight handy. I don't even have my phone handy that has a flashlight on it. But this is the newly acquired one. And then this one was our first one. And what these are, if you shine a light on the back side of this, then you're going to see this image pop through on this side. Okay? This is definitely some of the children's favorites. And there's one for Under the Sea. There's a bunch of different ones. Again, I am not a consultant, so you should talk with your Usborne consultant. But these ones definitely are worth adding to your library. And they're really good for when company comes over and you need everybody to stay in the same room. It's definitely what I call a company book. Okay, so those are just a few of our favorites. Another one of our huge favorites is the Osborn illustrated Shakespeare book. Again, I will cut this off here, post a picture clip. That one has definitely been a favorite. I picked it up, you know, just trying to introduce my son to Shakespeare, because what I did with my daughter this past year with Shakespeare is that we just jumped in full force. We used the Charles and Mary Lamb, and she is struggling a little bit with it. So I was hoping that this one would kind of be interactive, kind of get him a basic view of the storyline, what I call cliff notes, and then we start digging more into Shakespeare and the backstories of it. You know, just kind of scratch the surface, and then we're just going to kind of start digging at it. What I didn't realize was how quickly he would read that book, and he read the entire book in 2 days. That's one worth keeping, in my opinion.